All right, let's see if we get some computer screen here and see who our 5x5 champion is for the next couple of days. Here comes the computer screen. Okay, I can see me. Can you guys see me? Tim's still there. Was that 3, 4 in a row for Tim now? So running up. All right. Well, happy Saturday, gang. Obviously, it was a business one, busy one. Start out this morning with some atrocious news and finish up this evening with some optimistic news. So we'll take that. So I've got a bunch of emails since putting out the short video this afternoon, and maybe need to clarify a couple of things. All this stay does right now, guys, is prohibits companies from saying, oh, the government's mandating it, therefore we're doing it. Okay. If a company still wants to mandate, they can. It doesn't mean that they can't do it. Okay. It just means they don't have to. Joe's hardware store, who employs 100 people, if Joe wants to mandate his employees get vaccinated, he can. Okay. What it doesn't mean is if Joe doesn't want to, then he doesn't have to. Okay. So that's the deal. And again, this is only good through Monday night because the administration is going to file their legal briefs on Monday. Absolutely. So this will run up. Eventually, this is going to wind up in the Supreme Court, and I'm betting that's probably the reason they put the January 4th deal in, was because they figure, okay, it's going to be fast-tracked through the court, but that way they'll have something, a little bit of time. It wasn't like they're saying, oh, we're going to have this done by November 15th or something. So just wanted to clarify that one there real quick for y'all. It doesn't change anything right now. It just delays it by, at this point, 48 hours. So it's good news. It seems like at least somebody in the court is agreeing with this is a choice, that Biden's overstepping his authority, which we kind of all know. Then the big catch is, how does the Supreme Court go? How does Amy Coney Barrett vote? How does John Roberts vote? Do they flip left? Do they flip right? Do they follow the law or not? Simple one. Thank you for the super chat. I do appreciate that greatly. So that was that. One thing I want to throw out there to you guys, and I don't know how many of y'all live in Virginia, especially how many of you live in the 2nd Congressional District of Virginia, but there's something that came out this afternoon that I thought was very interesting. Now, we all know that Virginia shocked the nation by the entire upper levels of government flipping to red this week. I mean, governor, lieutenant governor, and attorney general all suddenly Republican. And, so now there's all like, oh, is Virginia going to flip to a red state? Don't know. Okay. It just depends on how other people run their campaigns, what they believe in, and, thereabouts. But the current Congresswoman, Elaine Luria, a Democrat, out of the 2nd District, is a little bit on the ropes here. There's a 37-year Navy veteran by the name of Jerome Bell who's running against her. Okay, he's the Republican, she's the Democrat. This is what I find most interesting about him. And you can take it either way here. He has proposed, or pledged, I guess, if you will, to try to reinitiate the HUA Act. Now, if you don't know what that is, okay, that's the House Un-American Activities Act. This goes back to McCarthyism, okay, where Joe McCarthy wanted to weed out all the communists. Jerome Bell wants to bring this act back to weed out the communists. Annabelle, thank you for the super chat. Again, greatly appreciated. But he wants to weed out all the communists. This This, I mean, 37-year Navy veteran coming up and saying this. I want to hear more from this guy. Okay. What's going to make very interesting about it is, A, he's black. Okay. So they're not going to be able to throw all this racism. Well, yeah, I guess they still can. They're calling the new Virginia lieutenant governor a white supremacist, which I get a kick out of because she's black. But then again, they did the same thing to what's his name out in California, Larry Elder. Who knows, colorblind, I guess. But again, he is adamantly against critical race theory, and how do you? I can't figure out how they can call a black guy a white supremacist. That makes no sense to me. But yeah, so keep an eye on this guy. This guy could be very interesting to see what comes about over the next course of the next year. James, thank you for the super chat. I do appreciate it. Sorry if I'm a little stuffed up here, guys. I'm still fighting this cold, so dealing with everything going on there. But so that's what I had. Just some quick ones, because obviously you got the big news here a couple hours ago, which I wasn't going to wait until 9 o'clock to tell you guys about it. That was a little too important. But so I wanted to welcome everybody in again tonight. Happy Saturday. Seeing a lot of familiar faces, seeing some new names. So if you're new here, welcome. Hope you get some good information out of not only the chat or the conversation that I'm having with you, but the chat itself. There's a ton of good information, good people in this family that God knows can provide tons of good information. So, make sure you're going through reading comments and keeping up with what's going on in there too, because like I've said a million times, I don't have all the answers. I'm never going to profess to. But between all of us, I think we got pretty damn close to all of them. So, if I don't have the answer, I can pretty much guarantee that somebody in here does. So, always go through that. But welcome to everybody. Survival Buzz, thank you for the super chat. So, kind of explain how it goes on for all the newbies here. Tuesdays and Saturday nights are about you guys. Okay, so this is your opportunity to ask me questions. You guys pick the topics, what you want to know about. So ask whatever you want. If you want to ask a question, all I ask is that you put it in all caps in the chat. That way I can see it quickly, because as I'm scrolling through the chat, I mean, there's 1,200 of you guys in here right now and one of me. So I can see them a lot faster if they're all in caps. If you want to have conversations amongst yourselves, and please, I'm all for that, just do me a favor, keep it in lowercase letters. That way I can just skip over it and I can just concentrate on the uppercase stuff. Please keep everything PG-13. I've got some of the best moderators in the business in here, between Jacob, Robert, Lucky Dame, and North Shore. And rules around this house, guys, there are no second chances. We don't do 300-second timeouts. We just boot you, okay? We keep it polite. We keep it nice. Difference of opinion is totally acceptable. You want to start being rude to somebody, me or anybody else in the chat, they will toss you in a heartbeat. There is no looking back. There is no appeals process. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. So, please be respectful of everybody else, just like you would expect them to be respectful of you. Like I said, differing opinions is totally cool, as long as it's done politely. So, because I don't expect everybody to agree with me. God knows, like I've said a million times too, Mrs. P doesn't agree with me all the time. So if I can't get my wife to, I'm certainly not expecting you guys to. Diane, thank you for the super chat. All right. So let's get into some questions here, just so you guys know how I do this. I start at the top. I work my way all the way to the bottom as fast as I can. Some answers are quick. Some answers take a little bit longer. Please understand, though, that the chat will shoot me all the way to the bottom, and sometimes I can't get all the way back to the top. The chat window only keeps so much that you can get to. So if I haven't answered your question in 5 or 10 minutes, feel free to type it again. If I see it a second time and I've already answered it, I'll just skip it. No big deal. Almost nothing is off limits. Okay. We can't talk about certain topics, you guys know what most of those are. So if I see questions on that topic, I'm not even going to acknowledge them. I'm just going to move on. So going for that. Don't need any more strikes. We spent enough time in jail so far this year already. So let's see if I can make it through the rest of the year. All right, let me get up to the top, see what we got here. And okay, do. Romy Davis, my wife and I have been jarring beef stew all day. Good thing. Okay, and I'll extrapolate on this one. I like doing that rather than just canning ground beef or rather than just canning chicken. I like to can the meal because you're going to spend the same amount of, if it's got meat in it, it's going in for 75 or 90 minutes. I mean, no question. Okay, no big deal. But even like tonight, Mrs. P and I had borscht for dinner. And instead of her spending an hour and a half chopping up vegetables, we just went in the pantry, grabbed a couple of mason jars full of borscht, dumped it in a pan. In 15 minutes, we had hot soup. Okay, it was pretty easy. But that's what I like to be able to do is you've got a pre-made meal, you just dump the whole thing in. Now, sure, there's some things that you can't, you're not going to do macaroni or spaghetti or something like that in your jars. But okay, fine, make your spaghetti sauce, put your mushrooms, your green peppers, whatever the hell you want in there. Boil your spaghetti, make the sauce, and you're done. Rather than, okay, I've got my ground beef. Now I got to go cut everything up and do it again. You're cooking twice. So, my opinion. If you guys want to do it differently, go for it. But I just think canning the entire meal is a lot easier. I don't have to cook once then. Okay. Looking. This is all from earlier. I am Malaki. I just watched Endgame by Alex Jones. It all makes sense now. I haven't seen it, so I can't answer. Idaho Prepper Gal, thank you for the super chat. Again, greatly appreciated. Let's see. Amy Arsenault, pinball needs a shot of whiskey. Didn't you say something earlier about having to go get a beer? Now you're on the whiskey? Okay. Montana Grizzman, greeting from the free state of Montana. There you go. You guys got dumped with some snow, if I remember correctly. At least parts of the state did. Let's see. Fox 3905. If you could only plant 6 vegetables in your garden, which ones would you pick to grow? Certainly something I could store. Ones that you can can. So if I had to pick 6 vegetables, I would pick potatoes, tomatoes, beans, peppers, cabbage, and sweet potatoes. And I think that would probably cover your proteins, your carbs, the vitamins, and everything like that you need. So yeah, so what would I say? Potatoes, sweet potatoes, beans. I just lost what I said. Cabbage, peppers, and tomatoes. Yeah. Okay. Or maybe I take the peppers out and put beets in instead. But one of the two, because you're getting vitamin C out of the peppers, or you're getting vitamin C out of your tomatoes. So either way. So yeah, okay, there's 7. Depends. Maybe you don't like one of the other ones. Lorna Pinball looking all regal with the Saturday night hat. Hey, it's the party hat. We wear it on Saturday nights. So it gives me an excuse to not have Mrs. P throw it out or hide it somewhere on me. It can at least stay around. I've had the hat longer than I've had her. I've had this hat forever. Jackie Perez, thank you, because I would have. Time change tonight. Don't forget. I forgot. So good to know. Thank you for telling me that. I looked it up earlier this week and then completely forgot it was tonight. Let's see. Southern Magnolia, hello. Hey, y'all from Oklahoma. Greetings back from Tennessee. Gazzetti, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it as well. Wild West, very, very good thing to say. We are all in this together. Be strong, people. We are gonna have to lean on each other, guys. all of us are going to face different little minor SHTF events. I mean, minor in the big picture, but major in our household because of this. I mean, stand up for your principles. I mean, do you have to quit a job? Do you lose a job? Whatever it would be. Those are SHTF events. Inflation, food costs. I talked again today about what's going to happen with fuel costs, electricity, natural gas, and stuff like that. These are going to be SHTF events for households, and we need to be able to lean on each other, and we do need to be able to help each other when it's needed. So, do what you can when you can for anybody that needs it. Jennifer, thank you as well for the super chat. Boy, you guys are being generous tonight. I thank you. I thank you all. Cowboy Bob, pinball, is propane hard to get in your area? It is in East Kentucky. Yes, I haven't got any, but I was at Walmart today, believe it or not, and the guy in front of me had paid for 2 propane canisters, and there was only 1 in there. So Walmart was out of propane by me today. Like I said, we use so little propane. The only thing that runs in the house is the stove and the oven. I mean, when we bought the house, it had a full tank of propane. That was 2.5 years ago. We still got 65% in there. And if you think, oh, we used 35%, no, we used 15. You only fill a propane tank to 80%. So, I've got enough, unless I have to use my backup heater, I'm okay. So I haven't bought it. But from what I heard in the store today, at least I can say Walmart was short. Whoops, that's not what I want to do. Let's see, go back to where we are. Okay. Don't you know? Hi, Pinball, I'll be listening. Okay. Let's see. Teresa Ellis, when will Mrs. P be back on? That's up to her, and I bet she's upstairs watching, and she's probably got a smile on her face right now. But I don't pressure her. I ask her, and she's like, I don't want to. And I'm like, okay, y'all know she's camera shy. So, when she wants to, she's always welcome. You guys know that. But I'm not going to force her to do it. So, Okie Forge, have I heard that the Let's Go statement is equivalent to a threat to the president? I don't know if it's a threat. I mean, if you're just finding out about Let's Go, where you've been for the last month, but to say it's a threat, no. I mean, if somebody if that's coming out, if somebody's doing it, that's Rachel Maddow or somebody like that trying to make mountains out of molehills again. Peter Piper, thank you for the super chat. Prepper for Life, thank you as well. Let me see. Okay, so I'll try to get the questions on it, though. Peter says, is East Tennessee small business friendly? We're thinking of relocating, and I'd like to take my auto repair business with me. Yeah, it's very small business friendly, especially out where I am out here. There's Walmart, there's Food City and Ingles, and everything else is small business. I mean, around me, there is not a Burger King. There's what is it? McDonald's, Taco Bell, and KFC are in town. That's it. Other than that, it's basically mom and pop businesses, mom and pop hardware stores. It's pretty much all small business. We don't have hardly anything here in the way of big business. I can't speak for all of East Tennessee, but at least in the Union County area where I am, yeah, it's pretty much all small business. Okay. Okay, that was a question for somebody else. Jennifer Small, what are the odds China will launch a strike at the USA? I wish I was qualified to answer that question. Something's going to happen in Taiwan before they go after the U.S. That's almost certain. I know, we never know exactly what's going to happen. We only know what is being spoon-fed to us. But logically, it just doesn't make sense. And I've said over and over again, the reasons why. Logistically, they just can't do it. There's no way to quickly get reinforcements. I mean, whether it's weaponry, ammunition, food, whatever would be for any sort of troops. You're not going to sneak in, you know, armored divisions with tanks and, you know, tens of thousands of troops without us noticing, you know. So, I mean, unless of course Joe's asleep, but you know, yeah. I think before we see anything with the U.S., I think we've had things pop off in other places in the world, and eventually it just makes it our way. I don't think we're going to be the first event. Jack Bauer, what do I think the Supreme Court will rule on the Second Amendment carry permits? Are you talking here about the New York lawsuit that's going on right now, where the guy had what was it? He was, if I understand it correctly, the way New York says it is you have to give a reason why you should have a carry permit, and so he's suing against that. I got to think that the Supreme Court sides with the guy. You know, no, the reason I want a carry permit is because it's one of my inalienable rights that's listed in the U.S. Constitution. That's the reason I want it. Okay. It's not that I carry sacks of money through a bad part of town or something like that at midnight. You know, no, it's because it's written in the U.S. Constitution, which is the law of the land. Fingirl ECG, Mrs. P is awesome. Please have more of her cooking on your videos. I watched some today. Yeah, now that we're getting into winter, if I can talk her into it, I mean, there's a couple other things we want to show you guys how to make for winter food. But yeah, again, like I said earlier, it's up to her wanting to do it. So, NS, how do you prep for dogs? Well, in our case, we prep as though they are a third person. Okay, so I mean, 2 dogs, 60 pounds or 70 pounds of dogs total. Okay, 40 and 30, and so we just count that as a third person in the household. So that means a third person's amount of water. That means, you know, anything of the sort, the third person's amount of food. Now, granted, you know, you're storing canned dog food, and I've got cases of canned dog food upstairs, but like anything else, eventually that's going to run out. Storing dry dog food is not a good idea. It goes rancid in about 6 to 9 months. So dry dog food will not store long term. So you need to know how to make your own homemade dog food. And I know you guys have been asking me to do this over and over and over again. I've got a couple of recipes, and one of these days I'm going to sit down and make a video on how to make canned dog food for you guys. So there's a cooking video. We'll make dog food. But, you know, make sure you have whatever medications, you know, the dogs are on. Heartworm pills, flea and tick prevention. Absolutely. You know, stock up on as much of that stuff as you can. You know, if you use the squeeze thing, you know, that's the one, what was it? I forget what the hell the damn thing's called. That you squeeze in between their shoulder blades. Stock up on that stuff. Get a couple of years worth of that stuff. If you're using those, was it Brevecto tablets? Those things get freaking expensive. But, you know, your heartworm medicine, whatever you can get. I mean, again, your dog is part of your mag. You know, it's certainly going to be your early warning system if somebody's sneaking around. A dog's going to sense something coming close long before you do. And, you know, dog starts barking at something, you know, your radar goes up. So, you know, take care of your dogs as though they were another person. They are a very important member of your mag. Your dog should have a bug out bag. Okay. I mean, it could be like a little kid's backpack, you know, if the dog's big enough or whatever it is to put on the back of the dog can carry its own bug out bag. But in there should be medicine, maybe vet records, you know, 3 days worth of dog food, whatever would be that you need for the dogs. So, you know, make sure you have that rope. You know, you gotta take care of the dogs. I mean, you know me, I love my dogs dearly, but you got to take care of the dogs like they are another person. Jen Boyles, did I start my homebrew beer yet? Start. I've already finished it and already drank it. That one's gone. So, I mean, when I get around to making another batch, yeah, that'll be, uh, probably pretty soon. I will make another batch up of it. Yeah, the Irish Stout and the Oktoberfest are what we did last time. I don't know what I'll do for Christmas. I think I've got some wheat beers or something like that. I'm not sure what I've got in the way of stuff for. Uh, Ace Maduro, it's okay if you don't have all the answers Nancy Pelosi does. The only answers Nancy's got is at the bottom of a wine bottle. Uh, I'm a win-win. Pinball, has Mrs. P ever had to send you to sit in the corner? Uh, Not physically, but yeah, I've been in the doghouse with her. Yes, I have. So, uh, yes. So there are things I do that she does not like, just like any other husband. Okay, it's rarely do the guys get mad at the wives, but the wives get mad at the husbands a lot, and it's like we just are like Neanderthals. So I don't think there's a guy out there that'll disagree with me. At least not one that doesn't own skinny jeans. Uh, Let's John. We turn back our clock at 9:55. Will you still go until we reach 10? No, I'm probably going to go get some sleep. This last few days have been kind of interesting. It's get up in the morning, do a few things, take a nap, do a few things, take a nap, do a few things, and go to sleep. I've been trying to sleep this cold out. So, and no, don't worry, I don't have COVID. I can still taste and smell and everything like that. So I'm good. It's just a cold. Uh, Vic, is the million, I'm assuming that means $1 million amnesty immigrants, new ones or existing ones? That is just for, oh, or no, I take it back. You're talking, okay, the ampersand. Okay, I guess you're talking about the seven. The 7 million people, that is existing people in the United States already, giving them green cards. The 450,000 does not go for those 7 million people. That's for the border crossers who are so separated from the children that, for the most part, weren't even theirs. So, yeah, those are the two idiotic things we've got going on here. Wild West, yes, I am a veteran. If somebody asked, yes, I am. Okay. If anybody saw the John Teller video, yeah, you've seen my DD214. So, yes, you know. Northern Ozark Homestead, planning the raised beds in the hoop house. I hear the old folks say they can't mess with 6-inch raised beds, so I'm planting 36 inches tall. Do you think plastic lined cedar 2x12 or sheet metal and 2x4s? It's interesting that you're asking this because I just got my concrete block today to start redoing some of my beds because I know the wood won't last but a few years. And I figure, okay, I'm going to get the concrete blocks now while I can. Let's see. Honestly, I'd probably go. I'd probably go sheet metal and 2x4s just for the simple reason of cost. Cedar is so freaking expensive. Uh, and if you can get some galvanized sheet metal, it's not going to rust on you. So uh, go watch a channel called Self Sufficient Me, guys out of Australia. But Mark does all raised beds. Now, what he uses are these pre-assembled things or whatever, the bibbies or something like that is the brand name. They're expensive. But you'll see what he's able to do in looks like about a 3 foot high container, and it's galvanized, and he does quite well. I mean, it's a good way to do hugelkultur in it. But yeah, I think for sheer cost, I'd go with the sheet metal. I'd go with sheet metal if you can get galvanized sheet metal. I wouldn't go with regular sheet metal because it's going to rust and then you're going to have a mess. So, whoops, and there was the shot to the bottom. So let's scroll back up, and where do we got here? Okay. I need to get the fluids in me. Let's see. Have you noticed how what is happening in the U.S. happened with Japan and Malaysia in 1942? Sister Marie's asking. I haven't. I haven't really compared it to Japan. Then again, my studies on World War II have been a lot more about the European theater than the Asian theater. I know probably a tenth as much about the Asian theater as I do about the European theater. So no, I can't say that I can compare the two. Northern Ozark, Northern Ozark Homestead baklava. Baklava is Greek, so I love baklava. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, big difference. Uh, Dakota Hayes, except they fleece you for the fee to carry. Yeah, okay. Uh, it depends on where. What did I have to for my CCW? I think I had to pay $65, and then there's like 25 for my fingerprints or something like that. Fortunately, I didn't have to take the class because Army veteran. So they figure, okay, you've been trained how to use firearms. So I just had to go in and apply for it, pay my, you know, pay my penance, and fine, I've got it. So, uh, but like anything else, okay, you're paying for everything, and it's I don't mind paying. This doesn't sound weird, okay? I don't mind paying my taxes, and I don't mind paying some of these fees if I know that the money is going for something useful. People talk about, oh, we shouldn't have to pay property tax. And my answer every time is, okay, who's going to fix the roads? Who's going to, come help you if your house is on fire? Whatever, because your property taxes pay for the road, the snow removal, the police department, the fire department, the electric bill that keeps the stoplight going. It pays for the schools, whatever it would be. All right. I kind of like having roads and police and fire department around, so I don't mind. Now, as long as it's not insane, like some of you guys up in the Northeast, talking about $12,000, $15,000 a year property tax bills. I mean, crap, it's more than your mortgage, or more than your principal at least. But yeah, but again, same thing. People will say about the your fishing license or your hunting license, and I mean, at least in most states, that goes for conservation and to help making sure there's always fish and always deer and whatever would be. So I'm as long as the fees aren't crazy, I'm not against them. That may make me different. It's like, okay, I'm okay paying my taxes. I kind of like having a military protecting this. Well, when it wasn't woke, but there are certain things that I want the government to do. Military be one of them. Transgender studies on ants in Indonesia. No, I mean, I don't care about that. That's a waste. But protecting the border, yeah, that's what I'd like them to work on too. It's like, unfortunately, what I want them to work on is not very important to the powers that be right now. Lady Hammer, how much is propane per gallon in your area? I do not know. Like I said earlier, I haven't bought it, so I really haven't paid attention. Oh, excuse me. Morning Light, Mrs. Pinball has her own fan club and love her recipes. I wish she'd realized this. It's like you guys have never been anything but nice to her. She's still afraid to get on the camera. But it's up to her. August Blue, Mrs. P, we would like a Russian Christmas dish. I hope to God she's watching upstairs. Let's see. Treasure Seekers, cooking with Mrs. P sounds like a good YouTube channel to me. Lauren and Jean, is there any platform for trading amongst ourselves, plants, services? People have tried to put together Discord channels, and they always wind up a mess because it's a free for all in there, and the other problem is with the Discord things is then you get all the trolls in there, then you get all the people trying to sell you crap in there, and if you have moderators in there, or you have to be approved to be in, then people get frustrated. It's like, oh, I put my thing in 3 days ago to get approved and nobody's done it, because there isn't somebody who's going, I just sit in front of my computer 24/7 just waiting to go, yes, I'll approve this person. So it's as good of an idea as it's a difficult one to put together. So, but I know people have tried, but I've yet to see one that's been very successful. Healthy disrespect for authority. Can dry dog food be vacuum sealed and frozen to extend its life? No, because it's the oils that are in the food that go rancid. So it's just, again, it's the same thing like storing brown rice or something. It's the same principle to it. You've got too many fats in there. Grafted Branch Homestead. Hi, Pinball. Just hopped on. I'm thinking about raising rabbits and some of my quail flock for dog food. There you go. Just make sure you get them some sweet potatoes or some blueberries or something in there. They can't, just like they can't live on meat alone. When you see your dog out in the yard eating grass, that's because the dog does not have enough vitamins. The dog's getting a craving for something that's in vegetation. Okay, Annabelle writes something to Mrs. Pinball. If she can read it, that's good, because I can't read Cyrillic. I always laugh at her. The one word I can always recognize in Russian is restaurant, which is actually pronounced very similar, but it reads like pektapa, and I always laugh at her because it's like, that one I know what it is, just because that's what the letters look like in English, but it's actually restaurant. I think pronounced somewhat close. Fortunately for me, Czech was in a Latin alphabet, so that helped. Gazzetti, Pinball, what do I go on to see you and Mrs. P cooking? If you go on the home page and click on the playlists, there is a playlist for cooking with Mrs. Pinball. There's a gardening playlist and a cooking playlist, so there's only two. You'll figure out which one it is real quick. Rockout Blackout, Dino Bite. I've had people mention that to me before. I've looked into it, and I know you hear the commercials, or somebody does a commercial. It's like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing in the world. And I talk to other people, it's complete hoax. So I don't know. So, Ken Williams, Pinball, what are your thoughts on keeping a vehicle gun? How do I want to answer this one? I never leave the house without a sidearm. Okay. And it was kind of funny because when I went into Walmart today, you guys know that in July, Tennessee went to an open carry state. And there was a big sign on Walmart that says, we respectfully request that, you do not open carry here. I'm like, kind of just muttered to myself, well, fine, it's in my pocket. You can't say it. I'd rather have it on my person, which of course, whenever I leave the house, if I've got it, when I'm in the car, I've got it. So yeah, want to have it. I would not have one that I'd leave in the car, because different laws in different states. Now, if I didn't have my CCW, okay, let's use Mrs. P, for example. She does not have a CCW. If she's in the car, she has to have the weapon sitting on the front seat. I can have it in the glove box because I've got a concealed carry permit. She does not. Now, that depends on the different states, and around here, I may bounce into Kentucky. I may bounce into Virginia because I'm right where they all meet. So, then you've got to know different states. The other problem I see with it is that's just one more thing that if your car gets broken into, that's going to cause you problems with. If somebody knows it's in there, or somebody just decides, hey, they saw a cell phone in there, and they open up the glove box and, oh, look at this, here's a 38, and they take that too. Now you got more problems. So my opinion, okay, yes, carry, but keep it on your person. Richard Morgan, am I planning any more meetups? Not this year. So no, now it's too cold. So If we do another one next year, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But there, with everything going on in the world right now, there's no way we could plan something 6 months out, 9 months out, or anything like that at this point. I mean, who knows what's going to happen over the winter right now? So, one of my dogs are another person. Teresa Atkinson, diatomaceous earth for fleas also. Yep, there's another good one. Okay, this must, it tells you how far behind I get. You guys are talking about dogs. This is where I'm in the chat. I talked about dogs 15 minutes ago. I make good dog food, Janice Cousin. I make dog food regularly. Girls on a high fiber diet. Whitten Hills will cost me $100 a week. Yikes. Yeah. We feed the dogs Blue Wilderness, or I'm trying a different one now because one of the dogs has a poultry allergy. And so good luck when you try to find food that does not have eggs, chicken byproduct, anything like that. I know exactly what you're talking about at $100 a bag. Yes. New England Prepper. There's the best line of the night. Our dog is 4 pounds. She goes in the bug out bag. Jennifer Small, what brand of canned dog food do you use? There you go. And Blue Wilderness, again, is what I've got for the dogs, for the exact reasons I just said. Fangirl ECG, eggnog is the bomb. Yeah, I'm one of those, I'll agree with you. I'm one of those people that likes eggnog and likes fruitcake. Okay, so, which probably makes me a fruitcake, but that's beside the point. Somebody lost a puppy dog, huh? I'm sorry to hear that, SH. And I see a couple of people, Morning Light and Little Hummingbird, mentioning the same thing. That's how I caught it there real quick. Tennessee Prepper saying the same thing. So yeah, condolences from all of us. Yeah, losing a pet is never easy. I bawl like a baby. The funny thing is I can get through a funeral for a person stone cold normal. Dog dies, no, I'm a blubbering idiot. Healthy disrespect for authority. Naps are the best way to heal. Yes, always have been for me. Wild West, I love this channel. Thanks, you rock, man. Hey, this is all about you guys. This is all of us. This, just as long as we all get something out of it, that makes me happy. Betty Jo Driscoll, can I do a video on making a rocket stove? A couple of people have asked me about doing that. I did one on making a Dakota fire hole maybe about 6-8 months ago. If you want, I can probably put together something. There's 1,000,001 ways to make a rocket stove. It's basically whatever you have on hand. You can make it out of tin cans. You could make it out of cinder blocks, whatever it would be. But yeah, when I get feeling better enough to go out and start doing a little bit of something, and it ain't cold, but it's supposed to be in the 60s next week, so hopefully I'm in better shape by then. Yeah, I can get out there and do one like that. Be a good idea. Carmen Giesi, when you make your canned dog food, will you pressure can it in for storage? Yes, absolutely. Just like it's just like making a stew. It's the same, because like I said, I mean, if I pull up, hang on, I'll tell you just what's in a couple of these. Where's my, here we go. Okay, so one of the recipes is rice, ground beef or turkey, carrots, broccoli, spinach, sweet potato, and water. Okay, I mean, that sounds pretty close to a beef stew to me. Another one, ground beef, rice, sea salt, butter, beef stock, broccoli, carrots, potatoes, spinach. Yeah, pretty similar. So yeah, I mean, you're talking about making it like a beef stew. So why not pressure can it and you got it? And because as silly as it is, you can eat that. I mean, it's got rice and potatoes and beef and spinach and whatever it is. It's like, oh, okay. I get it. If I mislabeled the can and put in there beef stew instead of dog food, it's not like I'm going to get sick. It's people food anyway. All right. Roby Davis, thanks a lot. Old people need naps. I'm 55. I ain't that old yet. Youngblood, Pelosi's in Florida this weekend looking for retirement homes. Damn, I thought you were going to tell me looking for funeral or looking for cemetery plots. I can only hope. Kiss my grits. Aren't there two more bills in total? Yeah, there is the. See, this is. They keep mixing them and changing them and everything like this. This was supposed to be the infrastructure bill that they're going to pass through reconciliation. We still have the. What the hell was the other one? Uh, there is another bill. There's two of them. Okay. And so everything kind of changes over and over again. I mean, day in, day out, it's like, oh, we're putting this, taking that out, and everything. I can't keep up with how fast that thing moves. And I mean, like I said in the video today, you know, they finally gave it to everybody on Thursday night, and it was 2,700 pages or something like that. And they voted on it on Friday night. There's nobody who could have physically possibly read the entire thing. So it's another one of Nancy's favorite things of you have to pass it so you can read what's in it. I want to start writing contracts like that. You know, here's my tax form. You have to accept my check before you can read my 1040. How about that? You know, I'll write you a check for 12 cents till you accept the check. You know, can't read my tax form. Survival Buzz. How long have I been prepping? I really got. See, this is hard to say because after going through a divorce in 2009, 2010, I got started. But then when I wound up homeless in 2013, that kind of nixed all of the prepping, everything like that. And then I got going back again in about 2015. So that's about the only way because it wasn't constant because I had a huge life disaster in the middle of it. But that's the best answer I got for you. I hope that answers the question. Are there any other important things in the bill that passed? There's so much baloney in there. I'm still waiting for somebody to put the whole thing out, but I mean, there's been some. Let me see if I can just. I saw it earlier. Let me see if I can find it. If I still have it up on the computer. No, I don't have the. I'd have to go digging through the link, and I don't want to spend all that time here. But yeah, there's a lot of other Green New Deal, Communist Manifesto, crazy crap in there. You know, that is just pork. I am Malaki. Birdie's raised beds are awesome. Oh yeah, they look like they are. They're just freaking expensive. And you know, if you can take the general concept and make it yourself, that's the way I go. Elizabeth, thank you for the super chat. Thank you very much. The Cushnet Prepper said, and it shot to the bottom. I read it just ahead of time. It says, I'm not a violent person, but when do we take action or whatever it is? Again, I wish I had that answer. Somewhere, somehow, some way, the first shot's going to get fired and that's going to blow everything up. Okay. And I think that's what the left is, and I've said this for a while too, that's what the left is trying to do. They're trying to push the patriots enough to the point where the shot heard around the world comes from our side, and then they can go and say, well, look, they started it. That I don't know. I mean, I don't, like I've said many times, I don't want to see this get violent. And it just may. I don't want it to. I'm prepared in case it does. But again, like I've said the whole way through, my whole position, at least on a personal level, is going to be defensive. I'm not going out in the street and trying to, I mean, I will protect my property and that's going to be about it. I'm not going out on raids or anything like that. Lisa Sayer, have I ever used solarized tarps to start a garden? No, I have not. Uh, Steve Smith, how many true preppers do you estimate there are in the US and Canada? About 1% of the population. So that's what, about 3.5 million in the US? I don't know the population of Canada, but so figure about 3.5 million in the US. Mitzi Kimsey, any word on the seed boxes patiently waiting in Alabama? You got at least a month or so before they're going to get there. Last I heard, they were just starting to get into South Carolina, so they've still got to go South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, and then start heading your way. So yeah, there's probably at least 10 or 12 people ahead of you before it gets in Alabama yet. Oh, Chief Jim, Constantine's pursuit of the cell phone was hilarious. Oh my God. I mean, I watched that this morning. And I mean, and the only thing I could think of the whole video is, are you sure this thing isn't stolen? Because I mean, and for those of you guys that don't know, Constantine's channel, Letters from Russia, and he wanted to go buy an iPhone 13 Plus, and apparently they were hard to get. And Russia's in a lockdown and everything. Real quick, if you go watch his video from this morning, it's hilarious. But he called a place who said they had the phone, but he had to pay online first, and then he had to drive all the way across Moscow, 30 miles, to go to the store, and had to be there in an hour and a half. So he drove all the way there, but they said, but because of the lockdowns, they couldn't be there. So somebody would meet him in the parking garage. Well, he went to the parking garage, and the guy met him and said, you need to go across the street to the grocery store. So I went across to the grocery store and they said, oh, you need to call somebody at this phone number. There's a little sign on it. So he calls this guy, waits 10 minutes or whatever. Guy comes down and kind of hands him the cell phone, says, oh, no, there's no receipt or anything like that. I'm thinking to myself, and he kind of jokes. He goes, look, this is like, buying heroin or something. I'm like, I'm thinking the phone's got to be stolen. Just got to be. There's no way that would happen. But it was a humorous video to watch. Gray Ghost 55. Hey, Pinball, how do you feel about secession? Do you think it'll happen? Uh, I, if you want to say secession and balkanization are the same thing, eventually, yeah, I do. And honestly, I think it is probably what's in the best interest of both sides, because we are long past any sort of meet in the middle compromise in this country. We have a communist wing and we have a capitalist wing. And when you have members of Congress, duly elected members of Congress, saying we need to get rid of capitalism, when you have the transportation secretary come out today and says the top income tax rate should be 50%, and my answer is, let me see if I get this straight. I go to work and the government gets 50% of what I make. Explain to me what they did to earn that money, because they're getting exactly what I did for busting my ass for doing it, right? Okay. I think we're beyond repair at this point. It's just, there's not going to be a kumbaya moment where everybody's going to go, oh, gee, I'm sorry, let's all hug it out. That's just not going to happen. All right, we got too much crazy crap, and we'll probably split up in anywhere between 3 and 5 countries. Is my point. I think that will probably wind up being best for the people that live in the United States. But again, that's just my opinion. Cat Von B, yes, eggnog and fruitcake. There you go. A little bit of rum in both, and you're good. The eggnog helps you like the fruitcake. There you go. Lisa Preps, can't talk. Purina Pro plan for sensitive stomachs. It's not that he's got a sensitive stomach like that. It's he breaks out in a rash when he eats poultry. So then we've got to spray him and give him medicine and stuff like that. And I mean, we've tried anything and everything. It's just crazy. Vicky, I got your email earlier. Are the chestnut seeds ripe yet? Some have started falling yet, but not in any sort of quantity yet. So as soon as I get some picked up or whatever, I'll try to email you a picture or whatever so you can see what it is. And if you want me to send you a couple, I'll send you some. You can see if they're what you're looking for. Avalon 2468. Could you make a solar oven? Yeah, I mean, it's actually pretty easy. You can just get an old cardboard box, line the whole thing with aluminum foil, and you're done. Okay. I mean, cut it open so it's, not 90-degree angles. You want it out on 45s, but yeah, just cut a box out on the seams and wrap it in aluminum foil. That's what you're looking for. Reality TV. How about cooking in a fireplace? Depending on what you're cooking, you can. I mean, think of any of the old, 1800s movies or whatever. You see the fireplace and the little, kettle, cooking soup or something like that in there. Sure, you can. Uh, just, again, it's no different than cooking outside. It's just you have to pay attention to it the whole time. You're going to be sitting there stoking the fire, making sure your temperature's right, do whatever. S. Furlow says Northern Preparedness did a great video on Iraq. Are you talking about North Shore? Because I don't know a Northern Preparedness. That doesn't mean there isn't one. Romy Davis, damn, now I'm hungry. Hopefully that wasn't from all the talk about dog food. Charlie Knoll, you can get free blocks and bricks from demo companies. You just have to clean them up a little bit. Yeah, we've got some of that stuff in the past too, not from demo companies, but when they're cleaning up old houses and stuff like that. If there's stuff over there I can grab, I do. Melissa Cat, which one of the bills has the part for our daughters? Okay, which one of the bills has the part that our daughters have to register for the draft? I don't know. We haven't heard anything on that in about a month, maybe even two. So I don't know where that one is, if it's even in either one of these things. Finally got it. Can I do a video on making jerky? Maybe. I wasn't planning on making any jerky, so I'll see. I mean, it's just a matter of using your dehydrator. So. Linda S. Build Back Better, the human infrastructure, and the Green New Deal is the next one, right? Okay. Don Rangel made your homemade wine recipe today, 2 gallons, yum. Yeah, just be careful on how much you drink of that stuff. It will kick you in the ass. Chicken Prepper. Pelosi's looking for drive-through liquor stores. Yeah. Hell, she needs one that delivers. Francine Ryder, they need to get their pork in there before they pass anything. Of course, I mean, this is it. They need all the stuff that's going to be the kickbacks, so then they can't talk about that. But then they'll come and go, "Oh, we got to have this because look, we're giving you this." It's like, okay, it's 9% of the bill. What's the other 91%? Oh, you don't need to look at that. That's the stuff that's all getting kicked back to my reelection campaign and my go out to dinner campaign. Wow, I just caught this one, Mid Hall. If any of you guys are up in Michigan, Myers has a sale on turkeys this week, 33 cents a pound. If you got freezer room, guys, buy a couple of them or can them. Flint McRock, does the bill still need to be passed by the Senate? Okay, I thought this was the one that it's already passed by the Senate. Every news story I read is conflicting. Some say it's already passed the Senate, then other ones say now it goes to the Senate, so I'm not even sure. I thought originally this was the Senate bill that the House has now voted on and it's going to Biden's desk. That's what I thought it was. But then I read a couple of things this afternoon where it's like, look, now it goes to the Senate and who's going to vote on it there? What? So, I mean, this is the shell game that Washington plays with us. Ildeco, how did you build back after being homeless? If it's okay to ask that. I mean, I literally started out in a little shithole apartment and had furniture that I got off of Craigslist for free and did whatever, and dollar store, whatever it was. And, finally got back to work and, took whatever job I could make. I think I was making $15 an hour or something like that, recruiting. I was just, desperate for whatever. And I slowly built myself back. But I mean, I had no social life whatsoever. I mean, it was go to work, go home, go to work, go home. That was it. And, did not spend any extra money until I was able to start getting things going. And then, I mean, believe it or not, when Mrs. P and I met, I was in that little shithole apartment. And when she came here, that was the first place we were there. And we were in that apartment for a couple of months until we moved to a bigger apartment, until we bought our house in Vegas, until we moved here. So, you know, I'm very frugal. And she is very frugal. That was it. It's like, okay, everything we have, we had a goal in mind, and it was we were getting out of this situation. So it was not waste any money on anything. Holy crap, it's 10 o'clock. I'm sorry. I didn't even realize we were there already. Let's see. Somebody had one question I saw. They wanted to ask if the wine video, there it is, Dennis Ross. Is there a video on the beer and winemaking? The winemaking video is called Dust on the Bottle, and it's about a year ago. The beer making video, I don't remember what it's called. Let me see if I can find it real quick. No, I can't off the top. The winemaking video is called Dust on a Bottle. I know that just because I've had hundreds of people ask me for that one. But if you go through, the beer making video was probably a month or 2 months ago. So if you went through just the videos on the homepage, you'd probably find it pretty quick. So, all right, guys, thank you for spending another Saturday night with me. Y'all have a great evening. I'm assuming North is going on next. So party continues over at North Shore Preparedness. Have a good weekend, y'all. I'm going to shut her down and go get some sleep. Take care. Pinball out.